So now we're going to move into SMART goals, and traditionally this is the hardest part of the portfolio for most students. I'm going to change the word achievable here to agreeable, and I'm well aware that your portfolio doesn't look exactly like this, so we're more than happy for you to photocopy the one page that you have of these goals so that you can have two separate ones for nutrition and for fitness. And the first thing I'm going to do here is lay them out in a SMART format. So I'll make the screen a touch bigger again. And the first goal, again, I'll change the font to black. So we'll do fitness, short-term fitness. And how I like to do this is work from a long-term goal and then work backwards. But there's no reason why you can't work from short-term and work forwards. So for Dave, or David, we're going to work on his long-term fitness goal, and it's going to be to increase chest size from, oh, I've forgotten what it was originally. I'll have to go back up. I think it was 93 centimeters. I'll have to check. Where were we? 93 centimeters. So increase chest size from 93 centimeters to 96 centimeters. Increase arm size from 33 centimeters to 35 centimeters. And to improve 2 km row up score stroke time from 7:54 to 07:34. So we're looking to take 20 seconds off of that. So you can see here for goals I've got a specific starting point and a finishing point for chest size. I've got a specific starting point here and finishing point here for arm size, and a specific starting point and finishing point here for the aerobic score. Also, you can think now, well, okay, the tests that I took earlier on are appropriate to the goals. So when you're filling out your portfolio, you may want to think about what your client wants to achieve before you actually start to write down your physical measurements, because your physical measurements in your portfolio should really reflect the goals that you're going to write about. Well, how would I measure this? Well, it's going to be a long-term goal, so we're going to measure chest and arm sites every 3 weeks. We will also carry out the 2 km rower test every 2 weeks. David and I have both agreed to this goal. Is it a realistic goal? Well, here we need to use some real thought here, really take time to think about it. If we've got a massive goal here, like 93 centimeters to 110 centimeters, and we want to do it in a week, then we can't really justify that that's going to be a realistic goal for some hypertrophy, for increasing his size. Or if my client was going to train but not change their nutrition, again, it might be quite hard for them to achieve that goal, especially if they've already been training in a hypertrophy rep range with sets, tempos, rest periods and training system for a while. So here I've got to really justify it, and it's going to be, the goal is realistic, or the goals are realistic, because David is willing to make the nutritional adjustments and change his training to focus on the ACSM guidelines for hypertrophy. So your assessor will be looking for something along those lines of you justifying why it's realistic. Well, here we're saying that if the client makes the nutritional changes and follows the ACSM, the American College of Sports Medicine guidelines for hypertrophy, in terms of frequency, intensity, type and time, then he should be able to achieve the goal. And we need to make it realistic, so I'm going to put this one for 10 weeks, which you might think, hang on, we're doing an 8-week case study, but your long-term goal can fall outside of the 8 weeks that you're going to design a case study for. And then what I'm going to do is keep the goals relatively simple for fitness, and I'm just going to work on smaller numbers to help him get there. So for the medium term, you've seen me just copy and paste. For the medium term, I'm going to say that this is based on 8 weeks, and it's going to be to go from 93 centimeters on the chest, which I'm hoping is going to be a little bit more than that. So from 94 centimeters to 95 centimeters, from 33.5 centimeters to 34 centimeters here, and to improve this time from 10:54 in the medium term down to say 10:44. And how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to measure the chest and the arm sites. This time we might go for every 2 weeks, and we'll also carry out the 2 km rower test every 2 weeks. David and I have both agreed to this goal. The goals are realistic because David is willing to make the nutritional adjustments and change his training to focus on the ACSM guidelines for hypertrophy. And this time it's time bound to 8 weeks. Then for the short term, I'm going to work on just a slightly smaller variation of that same goal. And in the short term, it may well be to work from 93 centimeters to 94, and to work from 33 centimeters to 33.5, and to improve the 2 km score from 10:54 down to 10:50. And this time it may be 6 weeks, because it could take up to 6 weeks to really experience some hypertrophy change, or possibly even a massive change in his aerobic fitness or his cardiovascular fitness. So if we read through these goals again, in the short term for fitness, we've got increased chest size from 93 centimeters to 94, so that's chest and back measurement around the nipple line. Increase arm size from 33 centimeters to 33.5 centimeters, and improve the 2 km rower score time from 7:54 down to 7 minutes 50. We're going to measure the chest and arm sites every 2 weeks. We'll also carry out the 2 km rower test every 2 weeks. David and I have both agreed to this goal. The goals are realistic because David is willing to make the nutritional adjustments and change his training to focus on the ACSM guidelines for hypertrophy, and it's time bound to 6 weeks. In the medium term, because we're hoping that David has now got to 94 centimeters in the chest and got to 33.5 centimeters in the arm, we're going to take the chest from 94 to 95 centimeters. We're going to take the arms from 33.5 to 34 centimeters, and the rower time from 7:54. Oh, that's a mistake. It will be from 7:50 down to 7:44. Again, measurable, agreeable, realistic and time-bound have all been changed or kept the same in some cases. And then the long-term goal is talking about where we started from right the way in the beginning, to the 93 centimeters, to the overall long-term goal of 96 centimeters, from 33 centimeters on the arm to 35 centimeters. So your assessor can see that you've broken down a long-term goal into short and medium, and that you've got regular check-in points using appropriate tests that are valid tests to check that you're on track. And that is how to, or an example of filling out your SMART goals for fitness, making sure that they're laid out S, M, A, R, and T. So